The Greek philosopher Aesop once said, "No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted." But what if your kindness could cost you everything? In today's story from North India, a man makes a choice that alters the course of his destiny. This is the story of Murdan Khan and the Jinn's daughter. There once lived a soldier named Rahim who had recently fallen on hard times. In desperation, he went to his mother and he begged her for some money so he could go and find work in the city. His mother gave him 50 rupees, about half of her savings, and she sent him off with a blessing. He hadn't gone far when he came upon a strange scene. There was a crowd gathered around a corpse and one angry man standing in front of the burial ground. Apparently, the dead man had owed some money, and now his creditor was refusing to let him be buried until he had been paid back. And the amount he owed? Exactly 50 rupees. Rahim paused for a second, and then without another word he handed over his 50 rupees and he made sure the man was buried with dignity. Penniless again, he headed back home. When his surprised mother asked him why he was back so soon, Rahim just couldn't bring himself to tell her the truth. So he told her,
"I've managed to buy a house, but I need a little bit more money to finish the purchase."
His overjoyed mother gave him the last of her savings, and riddled with guilt, he set off again. When he got back to the burial spot, he met a man near the grave, a fellow soldier named Murdan Khan. They hit it off immediately and decided to go and find their fortune together. They eventually came to a large city, but something was strange. The city was divided in two by a large river, but no one ever seemed to cross from one side to the other. When they asked why, the townsfolk told them, "That river is cursed. For the last 50 years, any boats trying to cross had always sunk, never to be seen again." But where others saw an obstacle, Murdan Khan saw opportunity. He told Rahim,
"If we ferry rare goods over there, we'll make a fortune."
Now Rahim thought this was a crazy idea, but for some reason he trusted Murdan. He agreed and they used the money between them to buy a large number of goods. On the day of departure, a crowd gathered to watch them cross, but mostly to watch them die. As they set off, Murdan drew his sword, and when Rahim asked why, he just replied,
"Trust me."
Soon they were far from the shore and drifting slowly through the waters. They made it halfway when suddenly the boat lurched. The two men tensed, watching the still waters. Suddenly a hand shot out of the water and grabbed the hull of the boat. In a flash, Murdan sped forward and slashed down with his sword. The hand fell into the boat, twitching, and a shriek echoed from below. And then, silence. Rahim stared.
"What was that?"
"That, my friend,"
said Murdan,
"was the Jinn's daughter."
He explained. Long ago, the Jinn's daughter had fallen in love with a man who had then betrayed her. Ever since then, she lurked beneath the waters, pulling boats under, as revenge for her broken heart.
"How do you know all this?"
Rahim asked. Murdan just said,
"I have my ways."
He quickly changed the subject, pointing to the jewels on the severed hand.
"We can make some good money with these, I think."
They got to the other side to the loud cheers of the onlookers, and then took the jewels to be appraised. But when the jeweler saw the jewelry, he was shocked. They were almost the worth of a whole kingdom. Before they knew it, Rahim and Murdan were arrested for being thieves and were brought before the king. When asked, Murdan calmly told their story and offered the jewels to the king as a gift. The king was so impressed that he praised both men, and he dressed Murdan in a kilat, a ceremonial robe of great honor. He then gifted the jewels to his daughter. But when she received the gifts, the princess frowned. The set was incomplete, and she wanted the matching pair for the other hand. So the king turned to Murdan Khan.
"Bring me the matching pieces, and you may marry my daughter."
Murdan, though, had noticed Rahim and the princess exchanging glances, and so he told the king,
You honor me, Raja, but I fear marriage will be wasted on me. My friend Rahim, though, is a different story. I ask that you let him marry her."
The king agreed, and Murdan dove into the water, swimming all the way to the bottom, where he found the Jinn's palace. At the gates, he claimed to be a healer. The Jinn's daughter, still in agony from her missing hand, summoned him immediately and promised him anything. Riches, power, women, even her own hand in marriage, if he would just cure her. All I ask, said Murdan, is for the jewels from your other hand. She agreed and he asked her to close her eyes. When she did, he quietly took out the severed hand and reattached it. The hand fused to the wrist and the Jinn's daughter was healed. She happily gave him the matching jewels and Murdan swam back to the surface. He presented the jewels to the king, who held up his end of the bargain. Rahim and the princess were married. They headed back to Rahim's home with a large retinue of servants and many times richer than when they started. But one evening, Murdan turned to Rahim.
My friend, it is time for me to leave.
Stay.
Rahim begged,
I only have all this because of you.
but Murdan just smiled.
I fear I cannot, my friend. You see, I am the corpse that you buried. Because of your kindness, Allah allowed me to stay by your side and repay you. And now the debt is repaid. Goodbye, my friend.
With that, he faded away into the mist. Rahim never forgot his friend. He built a monument in Murdan's honor and made sure prayers were always said there. And he, his wife, and his mother lived on in peace, forever changed by the loyalty of a ghostly friend. So what can we learn from this tale? Beneath all the magic and fantastic elements, this is ultimately a story about kindness. Rahim's small acts of compassion set into motion a fate he could never have imagined. So let's be kind, because you never know when someone just might return the favor. What would you do? Would you give your last coin to bury a stranger? Let me know in the comments. Thank you as always for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, please give it a like, subscribe for more, and share with someone who loves stories. Until next time, my friends, stay curious, stay kind, and keep the stories alive.